YouTube and X. Welcome to the BTM Crypto News Network. This is Thursday. Thanks for joining, and thanks for sharing, and subscribing. So let me know what you guys think about what Brad said yesterday at the conference. So let's see here. Start the screen share and see what we can see. So this is the waiting for it to pull up here. So this is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a 24/7 crypto brokerage that gives you an actual person. Excuse me. An actual person to help you navigate your crypto journey. Sorry, my voice went out there for a second. But yes, so Caleb and Brown is a crypto brokerage that helps you navigate the crypto journey, and they're giving you a hand so you don't have to do it by yourself. They give you a one-on-one broker. The link is in the description. Let me know if you find that of value and if you're signing up. If you're new to crypto, this is definitely a good place to start. I know a lot of people are just getting in, just heard about crypto, and you're not late, right? Better late than never, but you're not late. You still have plenty of time to get in and make generational wealth. This is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. So this is the crypto bubbles, and you can see here the market appears to be back moving forward. So this is Telecoins up 20.1, which is strange, but pretty good. Today it's up 20.1. For the hour, it's down 0.3. For the week, it is down or up 0.4. For the month, it is up 5.4. And for the year, it is up or down 44.7. What up, ZBCN man? Thanks for joining. We'll see what's going on the X in a second. So this is moving forward. Flare's up 2.1. Jasmy's up 2.5. Osmosis is up 0.8. Trump token is up 0.7. Stronghold is up 0.2 on the day, 0.7 on the hour, down 11.2 on the week, up 14.1 on the month, and still down 49.2. So there is plenty of room to grow there. Just looking at something in the background and figure out closing out some browsers. See what's slowing us down. Qual Network's up 12.5. ZBCN is up 4%. HBAR is up 1.6. Canon Network was the video I was working on, is up 1%. Quant's up 4.4. Link is up 1.6. World Liberty Financial, interesting, is up 5.3 on the day, 4.7 on the week, 31.4 on the month. Go back to Canton Network is up 1% on the day, 2.2 on the hour, 11.4 on the week, and 83.4 on the month. What is really going on? Air Drones up 5.5. Zcash is up 1.7. Pith is up 2.6. Ondo is up 3.7. Tau is up 2.6. Bear's down 7.7. Powell is down 9.2. Cardano's up 2.6. FET's up 1.1. Solana's up 0.7. Bitcoin Cash is up 3.8. ICP is up 0.9. Satoshi's up 1.9. Binance 1.7. XLM 2.7. XDC is up 2%. Litecoin, which they changed their logo, is up 1.4. Hash flow's up 1.9. Algorand is up 1.7. Render's up 2.5. Sui's up 2.7. Caspa is up 0.5. I think we've hit all the tokens. Let's look at the big boys. Bitcoin is up 1.7 on the day, 0.2 on the hour, down 6.6 on the week, and 1.6 on the month, and down 15.2 on the year. I'm trying to get this out of the way, but for some reason it is not closing. So next is Ethereum. Ethereum is up 2% on the day, 1.5 on the hour, down 9.9 on the week, up 0.2 on the month, and down 10.9 on the year. So Ethereum is back under 3,000, 2,962. And of course, the cross-border payment of the future, one of the best projects on crypto. XRP is up 1.6 on the day, 1% on the hour, down 6.8 on the week, up 1.8 on the month, and down 39.2 on the year. So keeping it moving. We'll close the bubbles out. So this is an article, CEO. Ripple CEO says crypto will hit new all-time highs. What's next for Bitcoin, USD, and the Ethereum price? Is this the actual article? I don't know what that is. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says crypto markets will reach new all-time highs this year. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Bitcoin has already cooled from the October peak near 126 to around 89,000. Is it at 89,000? Let's see. Currently, actually, it's at 89,000. Okay. While the XRP price dropped from its summer 2025 all-time high of around $3.65 to $1.94. Where $1.90. Where were we? The sharp pullbacks show how quickly the price can swing, even in a bull cycle. This call from Garlinghouse stands as government and big financial firms now treat crypto less like a gamble and more like traditional investment vehicles. Ripple's CEO comments came yesterday, January 21st, during the talk at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the same location where President Trump cooled talks of further escalation with NATO and Europe over Denmark. This de-escalation led to the crypto market pumping by 2.7%, back over 3.1 trillion, as traders took Trump's words as a signal to return to the risk-on asset like crypto. Why is the Ripple CEO so bullish right now, and what does it mean for the XRP price? During a speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Garlinghouse stated regulation finally catching up with the reason he believes crypto will hit new all-time highs. The Genius Act passed in June 2025 sets clear rules for stablecoins which are the crypto tokens pegged to stable assets, mostly fiat currencies like the US dollar. Think of stablecoins as the Venmo balances that you can move 24/7 without the bank holding up things while you're taking a huge cut. For beginners, this matters because clear rules lower the risk of sudden bans or lawsuits. Garlinghouse said this clarity unlocking a lot of activity that the market has not yet priced in. XRP prices up 2% since yesterday's conference in Switzerland, and it hasn't yet reclaimed the key $2 level. It is trading just below the $1.95. Another day of positive news with nothing to spook the market, and there's a strong chance to retest the $2 before the weekend. Garlinghouse also flagged a shift who's buying large financial institutions are exploring crypto for payments, tokenized assets, and payroll based on stablecoins. Tokenization means putting real world assets like bonds or onto blockchains so they move faster and settle instantly. Okay. Just 3 days ago, on January 19th, the New York Stock Exchange announced it's developing a 24/7 trading platform for tokenized securities. This move, along with crypto ETFs and publicly traded digital asset treasury firms, is a prime example of how institutions are rapidly adopting crypto and blockchain technology. Finally, took all this time, finally. This backs up a broader institutional adoption trend we track at the 99 bits. When big players test crypto rails liquidity and deepens, price swings come over time. This is good news for everyday holders who fear wild drops. So that's an article. You guys should check it out. I did post it in the comments. So moving over to X, make sure you sign up for the BTM Crypto News Network to stay current on news and events. So this is, where are we? Some say pointed to exponential growth, past surges, and a coming inflection point driven by mass adoption. Utilities and ETFs, a repeat of the 1000x move isn't off the table. So let's see
if
has
any
to say.
I think that there's a high probability if any one of the scenarios that I've painted plays out, even if it's not all the dominoes, that we could see a 3 and 4 digit XRP in the very near future. Most people think in a linear fashion. In school, you're taught to look at a graph and you see it go up and to the right. Maybe there's some volatility. When in reality, the majority of things across your life and really most of reality move exponentially. So they start off slow, they build momentum across a long period of time before they hit an inflection point, and then they go vertical. And I think that's what we're going to see with XRP. I think we're going to see mass adoption, critical mass, utility, ETFs, all of it hit right at the same time. And it's going to be a perfect storm for the appreciation of that asset and then the utility of it to hold the price stability at those high prices. You saw it move up, 38,000% back between 2014 and 2017 or early 2018, like January 4th was a top. I know people that made that 1000x on that XRP back then. And I think people that bought at the bottom of this bear market may also get that 1000x on their XRP.
That'll be a please and thank you, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But that would be pretty awesome if it does play out. But only time will tell. But as we keep going, 1,000x come on, man, bro. That would be nice. I'm not saying it will. It's not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes, but it is possible. XRP price at $1.95, holding steady at the key support level. We have seen months of consolidation forming clear double bottom patterns within the price range. If the support level holds, the path to above $3 will be clear. Patience will be rewarded. Maybe for ZBIC in 20 years, but XRP, come on. This is Garlinghouse. Davos says he expects crypto markets to reach new all-time high and believe institutional adoption is still significantly underpriced by the market. Massive for XRP and crypto. This is what a global financial rail looks like. 3.5-second settlement trusted by banks. 1500 TPS plus. Real utilities, real adoption. Global transfer instant trusted by the banks. Santander, SBI, and more. 3 to 5 settlements. 1500 transactions per second. Real utility adoption. Ripple taps into the $5 trillion banking pool. Fortune 500 tech giant DXC Technologies has partnered with Ripple to integrate institutional grade blockchain solutions. DXC Technologies has announced a high-profile partnership with the enterprise blockchain company Ripple to enable institutional-grade digital asset capabilities directly into the banking infrastructure. As part of the tie-up between the two companies, Ripple's blockchain solutions will be integrated into DCX Hogan Bank platform. I never heard of Hogan Bank. I might have to check those guys out. Notably, the legacy system supports more than $5 trillion in deposits in 300 million accounts across the globe. Interesting. Key capabilities. Banks are facing increasing pressure to modernize. Finally, however, their core systems are often decades old and complex. That's an understatement. Hence, DXC and Ripple are providing a bridge. Banks can get access to digital asset features without disrupting their existing operations, which would be worth a lot, right? Once they figure out they're not going to get left behind with crypto, right? And they can actually interact and they're not going out of business, things are going to be good for the banks. Hit the button by accident. This makes it possible for hundreds of financial institutions to go directly to the phase of real-world deployment after experimenting with the technology. And of course, the sheer scale of DXC's client base presents a significant opportunity for Ripple. So yeah, when you bring the big boys on, bro, it's going to help out, right? And people see it works and people see they're making money. That's the key thing here. Once the banks see that partnering with the crypto companies and platforms and projects will make them money, they're going to keep pushing, right? They're going to be all crypto, crypto, crypto. All right, now they're looking at it as crypto is going to get in their pockets. They're like, no, crypto. We don't want crypto because we don't want to lose money. But once they realize they can partner with crypto and make a couple dollars, right? It's going to be widespread. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were talking about adoption, just adoption in whole. And there was like, people don't like change, but it's also the banks that don't like change, right? The bank makes a lot of money on our money, right? We give the bank money. The bank uses our money and makes interest on it and pays us back 1% on our money. So basically, the bank's holding our money, charging us to use it, and then making money on fees for our money. And crypto is going to eliminate a lot of these fees. So I'm sure the bank will in turn create new fees so they can still get paid. But as people move away from the banking system, they don't need to lose their money with the banks, and the banks don't like it, right? The banks want to keep beating you in the head on fees and late charges and overdrafts on the money that you put in the bank, which is always weird to me, right? Why is the bank feeing us on our money? They're just holding it. So to me, the bank's always been like the cousin holding money for you and then charging you money to hold your money and then charging you fees on top of that on your money. So if we don't need the banks, I think that's what's holding up the Clarity Act. The banks want us to give up the yields, and the banks have been getting fat on the yields for centuries. At this point, we should push back and tell them, give us our yield, right? You're going to make money. Stop being greedy. But I think with the transition, there's going to be a lot of banks and institutionals, investment companies left behind because they're not going to move quick enough. And when the change happens, a lot of these banks that are old technology are going to get left in the dust. And as somebody mentioned too, people are not going to continue, right? They're going to go to the streaming payrolls. They're going to go to ZBIX. They're going to go to other cryptos that are moving faster and leave the bank behind. And that's what the bank's terrified of. This whole thing is a stall tactic. The bank has been stalling out so they can get up to speed so they don't get left behind. And now there's a lot of fear mongering going on to get people to sell. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, somebody I was helping in their crypto journey, and I was telling them, these guys don't want you in crypto because they're going to buy it cheap and sell it back to you and make money. So if you get it and hold it, you're going to make money with these guys, right? So just be patient and continue to diamond hand because these guys are definitely in it to win it, right? They're not in it to lose. They're not in it to help you. They're not in it for games. They're in it to make money. And once they do get in and make money on you, they're going to keep the system going. So for first adopters, if we get in now and hold, it's on them, right? They're going to have to do something because we're not going. But back to the article, the financial-based company also recently partnered with LMAX Group, which is the leading institutional exchange for FX and crypto. LMAX agreed to integrate Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD as a collateral asset. Let me see here. Hello, what up, Brandon? What's going on, fam? What up, brother? What up, Dave? What's going on, fam? If you can't beat them, join them. Exactly. And they don't want to join. They're still trying to beat us because they're trying to bring the price of crypto down to buy it, to sell it back to us. And a lot of people are like, crypto won't succeed. Clearly, it's going to succeed, guys. Clearly, the bank is interested in it. And a lot of this is stall tactics, like the banks work with our legislators and policymakers, and they are all in cahoots. The bank's giving these guys money to FUD crypto, right? To tell them it's not safe, it's not good, it's only criminals. And now all of a sudden, 2 years ago, my clients are not interested in crypto projects. Last year, my clients are very interested in crypto projects. We have a whole lot of crypto projects rolling out. Just give them time to understand and to get in the game. What up, Bay? What's going on, fam? And at that point, they had their system set up. They got the rails going. And then they came back like, oh, yeah, crypto's good. Crypto's used for all kind of crimes and money laundering. Newsflash. The bank has been doing this the whole time. Anything crypto can and will do, the bank already does. So I don't even understand the argument about criminals use crypto. criminals also use the banks, right? They've been using the banks. They've been laundering money the whole time, but that's here nor there. Like I said last stream, they are greedy little Fs, and it's them holding things back, I feel, and it's bad enough they bribed Garlinghouse. Banks charge fees on top of fees. They are pigs. Peter, you are 110% right. These greedy pigs are going to keep being greedy and keep taking profit on the backs of everyday people, hardworking people that go to work, get paid, and get feed to death by their banks. And the banks sitting there getting rich. So definitely not that I'm anti-bank. I just think the banks should play fair. What up, Silver Days? I think the banks should help people and be more community folk and less business folks. Because I always said that, right? I say all the time. The bank charges people overdraft fees on money they don't even have, right? I mean, I never even understand that concept. If your account is negative and the bank's pushing through payments anyway, and then they fee you for the payment, like if you get a $5 purchase and you're negative, it'll go through and then the bank hits you for $34. So if you didn't have the $5 to begin with, why didn't you just bounce the payment, right? Versus they see that your $5 is now worth $34 to them. So this $5 transaction ended up being a $39 transaction for the bank, and the bank wins every time. So I've never been a very big opponent of the bank just because of that, right? You could do a $5 or $15 fee. A $34 fee is freaking ridiculous. And then they got the nerve to do fees on top of fees on top of fees, i.e. Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Yeah, I said it. Telling you straight up. That is crazy. And the legislation continues to let them do it because your president is working on a bill to cap credit card companies from charging over 10% interest, which is ridiculous. I was looking through loans, and these predatory lenders are talking about 400%, 500%. I seen one that was 3,000%. Why do you need to charge 3,000% on a loan that is only $3,000? A 3,000% loan, you're paying more in interest than you're paying for the actual loan or the actual money you're pulling out, which is crazy to me. But again, you can use your crypto, right? Buy it, purchase, hold it. Use your crypto to leverage for loans, right? That's how the rich get richer. They buy assets and use the assets to leverage for money versus people use their cash to buy things and now you're in debt, right? It's a debt system. It is a debtor system, right? They build a system that is built on using your cash to buy debt. Then you get more things and you get further in debt. And since you're in debt, your cash is worthless because you got to get out of debt, right? Versus if you have the assets, you can use your assets to leverage your debt. But that's here nor there, right? I'm going to keep it moving. I want to go down a rabbit hole. I just was in a lot of conversations yesterday with like-minded folks, and we were fed up with how things are set up and how they work versus crypto could change a lot. What up? Only if Brad had a thicker backbone. Probably so. Peter, I suspect you don't like Brad much. I mean, Brad succumbs to pressure, just like the rest of these guys, bro. When they come to you with all their incentives and checks and payments, right? What are you going to do? All right, you're going to turn them down or you're going to take the money? More than likely, you're going to take the money, right? Update: Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse at Davos says he expects crypto markets to reach new all-time highs and believe institutional adoption is still significantly underpriced by the market. So basically, he's telling us what we already know. These guys are going to make a fortune, and they're telling us they're not, right? Bro, we're not new to this. We're true to this. We know these guys are going to make a lot of money, right? And my whole thing is they should just cut us in, right? That's my only pushback for the whole thing, right? You're going to make money. We don't care, but just pour a little out, right? Right? Squeeze a couple dollars out for the little people, bro. Get ready for a God candle to 130. This is crazy. 130, bro. Quick calculations in my head. 130. Oh, yeah. I would be nice. I would be real nice. I would be crazy nice. But make sure you have a plan. Because when you do get your monies, right? Don't buy assets that depreciate. Spend your money on something that will help you in the future, or reinvest it to create generational wealth or to get out of debt. Don't spend it all on Lambos and hookers and drugs, guys. That's not what you're waiting for. That's not a plan. That is not going to give you financial stability. Infrastructure instead of speculation. XRP at $10, according to the ETF experts, even at this price level, would still be a lower despite the recent crypto corrections. The reason for the optimism: no short-term speculation, but real infrastructure. Ripple is increasingly positioned itself as a provider for institutional payment processing, liquidity management, and cross-border transfers. From insider perspective, several factors speak in favor of potential 400% XRP rally, growing institutional usage, regulatory clarity, and the interplay with new financial products like ETFs. One thing is clear: whether your bullish forecast comes true depends on less on the market hype and more on the actual adoption. Still, XRP remains an exciting candidate for many observers. Okay, I think we lost our feed here. I have to go back. I hate when that happens because you got to go all the way back down through there. We're here. Here. This is used for RLUSD. Just look at the bigger picture here. Binance, BlackRock, and UAE have all taken RLUSD on board. Acceleration adoption for Ripple's cross-border payment infrastructure is in full swing, with the big guns right at the front, right at the foot of the table. The Binance listing provides RLUSD access to the exchange, substantial liquidity pool, and global user base, potentially accelerating adoption for Ripple's cross-border payment infrastructure. BlackRock's integration of RLUSD as collateral for its tokenized treasury fund, Bill L, in January 2026, validating the stablecoin's utility for institutional settlement workflows. What is this build, or BUILD? I have to look that up. Dubai's Financial Services Authority approved RLUSD under revised crypto regulation in January, alongside with USD and EURC, expanding the token footprint in the Middle East financial hubs. And this is, of course, all XRP season is coming. So this is breaking. Ripple's CEO, Ripple's XRP and BlackRock now share the same room in Davos. It's a policy level access to global economic strategy. Ripple is in meetings with CEOs and lawmakers shaping market structure, tokenization, and cross-border rails. The XRP ledger was built for a moment like this. Regulatory clarity, enterprise rails, tokenized value transfer. Something big is coming. Can you feel it? Can you feel? Ripple and BlackRock highlight crypto's growing influence at Davos. Ripple joined BlackRock and other institutions at the World Economic Forum in Davos, underscoring an increasing role in the cryptocurrency and global economic decisions. Ripple sponsors the USA House at Davos 2026, a venue for U.S. companies and policymakers to engage in private meetings on economic resilience, AI, digital assets. CEO Brad Garlinghouse participated in discussions on crypto's integration with traditional finance. Coinbase CEO Brad Armstrong also attended, focusing on advancing crypto market structure reforms and promoting tokenization. The presence of Ripple and other crypto firms at Davos reflect the institutional shift from proprietary to central role in high-level economic dialogues. Interesting. Spot crypto ETFs, January 21st. XRP 7.16 million, Solana 2.92 million, outflows Bitcoin 708.7 million, Ethereum 286.9 million. And that reminds me, I don't have my crypto ETF tracker up. So this is the ETF tracker. So today, spot volume is 11.2 million, leverage 37.2 million. Is down again today. Bitwise is down 2% today to $21.61. Today's trading volume is 5.05 million. Canary Capital is down 2.36 to $20.53. 2.48 million. Franklin XRP is down 2.32% to $21. Grayscale is down 2.14% to $37.44. Rex Osprey ETF is down 2.82% to $15.84. I thought it was supposed to be pumping today. 21 shares, is down 2.62% to $18.75. Volatility shares is down 4.5% to $5.21. Turcom is down 4.85% to $10. Pro shares is down 4.34% to $9.54. Volatility shares is down 2.46 to $11.10. Amplify is down 1.79 to $21.64. And why is this one the only one that's barely down? That's weird. That's really weird, actually. Looking at the crypto market. The crypto market cap is 3.05 trillion, up 0.75%. CMC 20 is $188.85, up 1.85%. Fear and greed is going back over to fear. Our altcoin season is also up 1 to 28 So we're pulling slightly away from Bitcoin dominance. What is this? Crypto average RSI is 44.6. So getting back to the middle between over sold and overbought. Then let's check to see XRP is still under $2. Currently at $1.92, up 1.7 on the day. Market cap is 116.8 billion, up 1.11, up 1.11%. Strange number there. 24-hour trading volume is 3.22 billion, down 19.7%. Live Coin Watch is saying $1.92, up 0.05 on the hour, up 0.94 on the day, down 7.14 on the week, up 2.23 on the month, down 22.5 on the 3 months, and for the year down 39.43, which is the ongoing battle, right? We're still here, still waiting. BYN CEO Robin Vance at Davos were bullish on digital assets. America's oldest bank, 2 trillion AUM, and all on crypto, and Ripple, and a long time BYN partner, primarily custodial for RLUSD reserves, plus tokenized collaborations.
Feel that in the halls of the company today, and that's Rick cited.
Why is this volume? What the freak is going on with the volume, bro?
We're excited about AI, we're excited about digital assets, we're excited about innovation, we're excited about our people, and all of that is for serving our customers. And so you can feel that in the halls of the company today, and that's a fun thing.
Robin, we always appreciate talking to you. We appreciate you being here on set with us too.
It's great to be with you. Good luck. You've got a lot. We're excited.
This one is clear. This opens the door to on-chain capital flows routed through real hardware. Would you still ignore it once it's obvious? The facility is designed with a modular support, high value, power intensive digital infrastructure use cases, enabling Veto Power to efficiently deploy capital across secure compute, data processing, and other involving digital infrastructure applications. Veto Power, a leading B Corp certified global sustainable energy solutions group, announced today the execution of an agreement to acquire, develop, and operate its own 25 megawatt data center in the United Arab Emirates, secured pursuant to a long-term agreement with strategic partners. This agreement provides access to a dedicated power infrastructure and includes development rights for further scaling, positioning the project as a highly competitive digital infrastructure platform aligned with UAE's long-term digital economy objectives. The closing of the investment is expected to be at the latest in February 2026, subject to customary closing conditions. The CEO of VinPower, as we have noted previously, the UAE is a highly strategic market for VinPower, supported by its leadership in the digital infrastructure, energy transitions, and real-term economic diversification. We are pleased to have secured this opportunity to develop, build, and operate a strategic data center infrastructure asset in the UAE pursuit to long-term agreement. Working alongside our strategic partners, we will work diligently to deliver the initial 25 megawatt facility and support the continued evolution of the UAE digital infrastructure ecosystem. And the band plays on. Just in, jobless claims came in hot, 200K versus 212K expected. And you know, like I know, guys, they manipulate the unemployment numbers, bro. So lower unemployment numbers is not really shocking to me, right? It doesn't mean nothing. That's just not just a win for the economy. It is a green light for capital to be moving. Stronger backdrop, more fuel on rails like XRP, less panic, more building. Don't act surprised when utility starts getting priced in. It's clear, loud message coming from the World Economic Forum. Davos isn't debating crypto anymore, it's building. Tokenization, stablecoin, and real infrastructure, XRP and XRPL, are already being used where it actually matters. The gap between noise and reality is becoming obvious. Davos isn't debating crypto anymore. Tokenization, stablecoin infrastructure, XRP, XRPL are already being used where it matters, from noise to reality. Interesting. That's all I can say there. CZ been working since you got out of jail, boy. CZ is every freaking where. CZ of Binance and one of the most influential figures in crypto just laid out 3 sectors set to explode at Davos 2026. Tokenized government moving assets on chain, payments, the bridge between traditional and finance and crypto, AI crypto as the natives currency for AI agents, with Binance now listing XRLUSD. The infrastructure for that second pillar is officially here. What you got? What you saying, CG? What you talking about?
Right now in the crypto space, there's really 2 proven industries: the exchanges and stablecoins. Those are large businesses. I'm really excited about 3 new more. I think tokenization is a huge one. I'm talking with probably a dozen governments about tokenizing some of their assets, because this way the government can actually realize the financial gains first and use that to develop those industries, extractions, the trading markets, etc. Payments is something that we've tried and not really conquered have not really started in crypto. We tried, but nobody really pays in crypto. But I think now we're seeing the convergence of traditional payment methods being behind the scenes, being supported by crypto. So the spenders swipe a card, crypto gets deducted from their account. The merchants gets US dollars or euros or however, whatever they get. So now when we have those bridges, I think payments is going to come pretty big. The third one is what you guys all mentioned is AI. The native currency for AI agent is going to be crypto. They're not going to use bank cards. They're not going to swipe credit cards. They're going to crypto blockchain is the most native technology interface for AI agents. So when AI goes big, today AI they're not really agents. They don't buy tickets for you. They don't pay for restaurants for you. But when they actually do, those payments will be in crypto.
Okay, so there's the
right now in the crypto.
Well, that was pretty obvious, right? We knew they weren't going to be making fiat payments through AI agent bots, right? How are they going to get the money in the bot? I was talking to somebody earlier this week about different cryptos that could be used as processors or payments for bots, right? For bots doing the work. There might be some cryptos on the side that are actually making these payments. But let me know what you guys think about that as well. And we will see. Just in 2.3 trillion, Wells Fargo CEO Charles says interest rates are likely to go lower, massive for crypto. And he's right. Right, they probably are going to go lower because they want you to buy more stuff to get deeper in debt, so the bank can take more of your freaking money. Breaking: Thailand plans to expand crypto ETFs across or access amidst rising institutional adoption. The world is going all in on crypto. Finally, BlackRock's the world's largest wave of funding is flowing in. What if BlackRock enters the game? I thought this was a video. There's a video here. Okay.
Decimalization is necessary. It's ironic that we see two emerging countries leading the world in decimalization, in the tokenization and digitization of their currency. That's Brazil and India. I think we need to move very rapidly to doing that. We would be reducing fees. We would do more democratization by reducing more fees if we had all investments on a tokenized platform that you could move from a tokenized money market fund to equities and bonds and back and forth. We have one common blockchain. We will, we can reduce corruption. So I would argue that yes, we have more dependencies on maybe one blockchain, which we could all talk about. But that being said, the activities are probably processed and more secure than ever. I think the movement towards
who is this guy and what happened to Larry Fink that was swearing no one wanted to use crypto? My clients were not interested in crypto. How quick do they change, huh? Let me see, check the price. Went down to $1.91. Might be ready to buy back in. So this is Good Evening Crypto. Ripple's CEO predicts crypto all-time high in 2026. We run this video. I'll be right back.
To another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button and subscribe, as you're going to get an update every single day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to waste no time during today's episode diving into the brand new article we just got out of Davos, Switzerland, as CNBC is reporting the crypto markets will reach a new all-time high this year, according to Ripple's CEO. The cryptocurrency market is set to reach all-time highs, and this is largely garnering interest from the large financial institutions. Garlinghouse said that interest in crypto from large financial institutions is not priced into the market as much as he would have expected. Crypto is setting into a really nice opportunity to grow over the next 10 years. Now, keeping it very straightforward, the quote you're all looking for, I'm very bullish, and yes, I'll go on record in saying I think we'll see an all-time high in 2026. Now, this was music to my ears as an XRP investor, but it also fits with the narrative that we've been describing here on the Good Evening Crypto channel. We think this is that large fake out where retail investors are squeezed out of the market, and then the Clarity Act is passed, the liquidity cycle plays out, and we are looking at a completely different market in only 6 or 8 months from now. Well, as you guys just heard at the beginning of the episode, Brad is predicting a $180,000 Bitcoin by December. Imagine the impact that that would have on some of our favorite altcoins. But that's not where it stopped for Brad's predictions. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Garlinghouse said regulatory changes such as the Genius Act unlocked a lot of activity from the financial institutions. Now, we're yet to see a lot of this correlate to XRP's price action, but that's where 2026 could be a real game changer. Garlinghouse said that major financial institutions showing interest in crypto is a massive sea of change. I don't think it's been priced into the crypto markets as much as I would have expected right now. Well, this is where the Clarity Act becomes more important than ever. When the Clarity Act is approved and traditional companies begin using this brand new technology, we are going to see the trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines in insurance and money funds and ETFs and stocks and the tokenization of everything be migrating onto blockchain products. And where are they going to find themselves? They're going to find themselves on the battle-tested blockchains like XRP that literally has a leadership team that is responsible for driving new business onto the XRP ledger. Well, that's why we're seeing companies like Standard Chartered predict that XRP could reach $8 in 2026. Well, guys, if you believe XRP reaches $8 in 2026, smash that like button. If you disagree, leave a comment underneath the video, but I definitely fall into the crowd that $8 is on the horizon. We're also looking at $12.50 by the end of 2028, according to Standard Chartered. Now, while Garlinghouse declined to comment on the XRP price targets for 2026, he did go on to say that they are very vested party when it comes to what goes on in the XRP ecosystem. In another 5 or 10 years, you're going to continue to see very positive momentum, said Brad Garlinghouse. And when asked what the big use cases for digital assets are likely to be in 2026, Garlinghouse said he expected Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, to re-enter the United States market. And this is really great news because earlier today, Binance announced that they were going to be enabling the RLUSD stablecoin for all deposits on their platform. Now, this is phenomenal because the more trading pairs that are available for RLUSD, the more liquidity that's going to end up in the stablecoin, and eventually, the more transaction volume we are going to see on the XRP ledger. We also know that anybody who plans on using the RLUSD stablecoin is going to have a large pool of XRP in order to facilitate transactions on the network. But Garlinghouse went on to say that the Genius Act would help stablecoins scale in a very big way. Adding the cryptocurrencies could help operations such as payroll become more efficient in the American markets. He said cryptocurrencies were setting into a really nice opportunity to grow over the next 10 years. And I know a lot of the XRP investors are like, we don't want to hear about the next 10 years. Tell us about the next 10 months. Tell us about the next 8 months. And that's why the prediction of 2026 creating brand new all-time highs is so important for our community. I cannot believe that the last time XRP traded above $3.80 was 2017. We are yet to see any transactions occur in those ranges. And my belief is when we get past that $4 price target, it is going to get parabolic. $8, absolutely on the horizon for the short term. Garlinghouse was bullish on the Clarity Act, a framework regulating cryptocurrencies, stating it will get done. We are as close as we've ever been to passing this crypto framework. Well, I believe that the Clarity Act is coming, and that is what's going to open up the door for banks to start leveraging Ripple's blockchain technology. And don't take my word for it. Let's listen to the crypto czar David Sachs, who stated after the market structure bill passes, banks are going to get fully into crypto. Here's the clip.
Compromise ever leaves a little bit unhappy, right? But I think what's going to happen is that after market structure passes, the banks are going to get fully into the crypto industry. So we're not going to have a separate banking industry and crypto industry. It's going to be one digital assets industry. And I think
And will they be regulated?
their opinions are going to evolve over time. And I bet you over time, the banks like the idea of paying yield because they're going to be in the stablecoin business.
And so I think Brad Garlinghouse has a really good grasp on what's going to bring this industry forward, Johnny. But what's your reaction to his big predictions and the fact that he thinks large institutions are still on the sidelines?
You know, frankly, my reaction to that, Abs, is very shocking, to be honest, because Brad is a very sharp guy. I would have expected he would understand that institutional money is always risk money, right? So it's risk on, risk off. And these guys are not going to take a risk without the rules being written. And Brad should know that. So the reality is, Abs, the same thing happened in 96, 97. Until the rules were written, we didn't see institutional money come in. So I'm not surprised at all, Abs, that we haven't seen institutional money come in. And matter of fact, that's why I'm very bullish about 2026 and why I've been so adamant that we need the Clarity Act, because I believe when we get the Clarity Act, the rules will be written, and that institutional money that Brad was expecting to come and everybody's expecting will actually come, Abs. And when it comes, we all know the next stage. First, the smart money, then the institutional money, and third, unfortunately, the dumb money or the retail money comes in and drives everything up. And my friend, that's why I'm super bullish for 2026.
Well, like Standard Charter said, an $8 XRP price prediction is in the works. But Brad Garlinghouse highlighted this point. He expects that Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, will re-enter the United States in 2026. Let's check out the latest update. The RLUSD stablecoin was just enabled for spot trading pairs on Binance, one of the world's leading digital asset exchanges. Now, the listings include support for Ethereum, while the XRP ledger is coming soon with trading pairs on XRP RLUSD and RLUSD/USDT, which are available on the launch day. This development marks a milestone in RLUSD's continued growth and reflects continued commitment in building the stablecoin's infrastructure. The listing covers spot trading support for RLUSD and portfolio margin eligibility, increasing the RLUSD's utility in leveraged trading strategies. So what is happening here? More volume on the network, more demand for the token, and more trading pairs in the RLUSD asset. This is going to be great for Ripple's infrastructure. But more importantly, Johnny, people want to know, how does this impact XRP? Well, anybody who's using the RLUSD stablecoin, you get in with Ethereum and you migrate that over onto the XRP ledger. People have already built decentralized applications on Ethereum. They want a compatible trading pair. But now that this asset is compatible in both ecosystems, they're going to begin offboarding into the XRP ledger to get cheaper, faster, better transactions. So you Trojan horse the Ethereum ecosystem with the RLUSD stablecoin, and then you slowly siphon off that network, migrating those real world products onto the XRP ledger. Eventually, you're looking at a win-win for both case scenarios, guys. But what I think is most exciting here is that Brad Garlinghouse is once again optimistic on the industry, and he's pointing to real world catalysts that are going to drive this market forward.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, we know right now there are some big ones in front of us, and we talked about one already, the Clarity Act. The second one that we kind of really haven't talked about much lately is Raul Paul and the business cycle and the restructuring of the debt. And that's also something that's going to be happening right now as we speak. That's going to start transitioning over time. So you kind of got two things happening, right? We get the Clarity Act, which kind of lays out the rules, and institutional money comes in. And then you get, let's say, if Raul Paul is right, and we get the recycling of the debt, that means more money is available to come into this market, and we talk about more risk on bets. So for me, it's, again, I cannot help but feel bullish. And I actually like those price targets that you showed up there, that they're saying they expected about $8 XRP. Actually, Abs, that's very, very consistent with what we've been saying.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, what do you think about the video so far? Just kind of weird. I'm starting to think maybe this is the banana in the tailpipe, right? Every time they start hyping us for something that's going to happen, it generally doesn't happen, right? I suspect there's going to be some kind of weird black swan event and the market's going to go down, right? We're hyped, we're excited, we're ready, and then all of a sudden something happens and goes the opposite direction. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think they're kind of hyping us up, man. It's been a lot of hype lately, and the market hasn't been moving. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think it's hype? Do you think it's finally time for the market to bounce back? Or is this just a setup? I'm starting to think it's a setup, man. I'm starting not to trust these guys, but I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going to have to keep doing research and see. But let's finish this video out real quick. Shout out to Good Evening Crypto. And thanks for joining the BTM Crypto News Network. And appreciate you guys for joining. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and hit your main man up with a super chat. Just trying to keep the lights on here on the BTM Crypto News Network to help you understand what is going on in the crypto market. What up, Silver Days? What's going on, fam? Dave, you nailed it. I'm telling you, man, it's something weird, man. Every time things start going well, we get hyped up, something crazy happens, and the market drops, right? It's like, I don't want to be a conspiracist, but I am a conspiracist. So I'll give you some conspiracies, right? It's like these guys are literally driving people to crypto to get your money. let something crazy happen, let you sell your crypto, and then the price drops. Rinse and repeat. Get your money, price drops. Get your money, price drops. And when it gets to the point where they find it cheap enough, they're going to buy it up. Then they're going to create some kind of project, some kind of app where you can buy back the crypto that you just sold them at a fee. And then they're going to have some kind of holding fee or some kind of processing fee or some kind of weird purchase fee just for us to buy crypto that we already had that we sold. Well, for you guys, right? I'm not selling. Right? I was talking to somebody and we were saying, not financial advice, this is just for entertainment purposes. Recommend you setting up a auto buy and spending $20 a week and just buying Bitcoin and holding on to it. And I was saying, yeah, I tell people all the time in the Discord group and the Patreon, you could buy small amounts of Bitcoin. Like I explain to people all the time in the baby boom generation. Everyone's like, what I need to buy? I tell them, start with Bitcoin and then buy altcoins. And then like, I can't afford Bitcoin. And I was like, yes, you can. Because I know I can. I don't have $89,000. It's like you can buy fractional shares. And so many people don't even know that, right? Crypto adoption is nowhere near where it's going to be, right? A lot of people don't even know you can buy fractional shares of Bitcoin. And I tell them, that fractional share you buy today, down the line, is going to be worth a whole lot more, right? As people buy, because they're saying Trump and these guys pump billions into Bitcoin. And they only got thousands of Bitcoin, right? They didn't get millions. People are like, they own Bitcoin. They don't. They only got thousands of Bitcoin. So if they're dumping billions in, only got thousands, your little $20, $30, $5 is going to be on the map somewhere, right? If billions only get you thousands of Bitcoin, your little $20, $30 is going to get you a fractional share of something that's going to be worth a whole lot more than you bought it for. But it's not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. I don't want to rant and rave. Let's finish the video.
In the show, they're saying 2028, that's fine. The reality is, I think this goes to show you, Abs, it's coming. It's going to happen. The problem is everybody's been here so long, they're impatient now. And the reality is, as long as people can kind of do what you and I've done, we've reset our expectations. That's the key to this game now, Abs. It's being patient. It's resetting your expectation, seeing that things are taking longer than it's going to, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. The question is, are you willing to get to the end of the tunnel? I know you and I are ready to go there. Can everybody else do it? That's the question.
And I think there is huge price appreciation for the assets that survive, guys. Make no mistake about it on this show. By the end of the Trump administration, I think we're going to be looking at a completely different asset class where XRP is probably the #2 digital asset behind Bitcoin. We're going to wrap it up with a Brad Garlinghouse outlook for 2026. If you guys agree 2026 is going to be a bullish year, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all in the next one.
I think crypto has gone through cycles. And when you have risk on, people are excited. There are, now you have kind of a risk off moment. There's uncertainty. I personally will echo some of the things Richard said. There are so many macro factors that are continuing to provide tailwinds for this industry that I think as we go into 2026, I don't remember being this optimistic.
You've got Brad Garlinghouse up at Davos sharing the spotlight with Brian Armstrong and the
where you do have, as Richard said, regulatory clarity in the largest economy in the world. And I think people underprice this. 22% of global GDP is the United States. And this is a market that has been really openly hostile to crypto for 4 or 5 years, or maybe longer. And now you have that has changed significantly pretty quickly, but the institutions are still catching up with that to some degree. You saw Franklin Templeton on stage here. You saw BlackRock on stage. Just this week, I think Vanguard has now opened up. Vanguard historically has said, we won't touch crypto. And now they've had a massive sea change. That's just one of many things that are creating those tailwinds. And so I'm super optimistic about the year ahead. The last thing I'll say on this, which I think we'll also probably all agree about on this, is we are also seeing real world applications where it's not just about the speculation. You're finding easier to use interfaces so that crypto isn't just about the speculation. It's about solving real world problems. And to sustain that long-term optimism, that long-term bull market, I think you're going to see more and more of it.
So if you're looking to do the same strategies that we implement here on Good Evening Crypto, I would advise everybody sign up for Merlin and click on the I Trust Capital link below. Now, why did these two ideas play off one another? Merlin is going to allow our listeners to understand where they should be taking profit in this market. And I Trust is going to allow our listeners to take that profit tax-free through an IRA product. Now, that's not the best part about this. We are giving new clients a $100 sign-up bonus using the promo code GEC9. So I would encourage everybody, click on the link below the video, use promo code GEC9, and set yourself up for success during this crypto bull market.
White people call the Jasmine the Bitcoin of Japan. Well, you have to understand where that comes from. Don't ever buy or sell anything that I talk about, guys.
It's a pretty good video from
I'll go out on a limb and I'll say Bitcoin.
Good Evening Crypto. I actually saw his videos on TikTok, I think. So I was trying to see what he was talking about. Moving over to who is this?
It is a classic dynamic of when you create new law, it's never going to be perfect. And I think what's, the dynamic within the industry and working with Congress has been kind of, I subscribe to the idea that perfection is the enemy of good, and you can't get to perfection. And so I think Brian's exactly right. We're as close as we've ever been in providing that clarity. As some in the room probably know, Ripple lived through a 5-year battle with the U.S. government being sued because of the lack of clarity. So we are very much an advocate of clarity is better than chaos. I think Brian's right. We are very close. I don't know if it is a classic dynamic of when you create new law.
So there you have it. Brian Armstrong alongside Brad Garlinghouse at the World Economic Forum, guys. We've got a lot to get into as Ripple's XRP CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, had some very interesting things to say regarding the cryptocurrency market structure bill. He said clarity is better than chaos, but he also mentioned quite a bit about tokenization. We're going to get into all of that. What's happening at Davos right now? What are the big influential voices in the cryptocurrency market saying, and how this is going to impact Ripple? They also gave some of their predictions for 2026 as well. We're going to dive into all of that in the video here. And we're even going to hit on XRP retail sentiment. It is shifting from greed to extreme fear. Could this be a bullish signal for XRP? We're going to get to that later on in the video. So make sure you guys stick around until the end. Go ahead and hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is where you come to get all of your crypto news. No BS, no hype, just straight information and analysis every single day right here on the channel. And let's get into it, guys. We've got a lot to unpack here. A lot happening in the space, no doubt about it. And we'll start here with Ripple at Davos 2026. Is tokenization the future? Brad Garlinghouse joined the WEF panel to discuss this and the evolution of digital assets, why the shift to a tokenized economy is no longer a question of if, but a question of when. And this is what I mean when I say XRP is at the center of the future of money. Everything is moving on chain. Ripple predicts 2026 will be the year institutional crypto goes mainstream, driven by stablecoins, tokenization, custody, AI, payments. All of these, big key drivers that have always driven the market are now becoming mainstream, where the traditional system is adopting the crypto and DeFi ecosystems slowly but surely. It's not happening all together, but it is happening. Now, recently, XRP's price dropped down below $2. You guys know how I feel about this. Anytime XRP drops down below $2, I personally do become a buyer. XRP is one of the few assets right now that I feel comfortable accumulating in large amounts. For me, those assets are XRP, Ethereum, BNB, and Solana. I feel as if those altcoins are in a league of their own right now in the cryptocurrency market, and there's not even any really close competition. You could just see that by market cap, just see the drop off. Now, XRP on the weekly chart, you guys can see where we are. Been consolidating here since late last year. We did have a pop up to about 236 to start the year, went up about 25%. We have given that back the last couple weeks, and another opportunity to accumulate XRP down here under the $2 zone. And if we look at the technicals, they're all pointing to a sell signal. A lot of this is because we popped up to 235. We reclaimed some of our large moving averages. Now, in order to get back above the SMA 200, we'd have to reclaim $2.55. So just keep this in mind. We'll be looking at these, moving averages quite a bit because it really does give us a nice indication of when things are totally flipping from a price standpoint. But speaking of price, retail money, always interested in what's happening from a price standpoint. No doubt about it. Everybody wants to see number go up. No doubt. I personally have a long-term view for XRP, so I'm not as concerned with price action in the short term. I'm not trying to get rich overnight with XRP. That's not the strategy for me. If I believe that the world is changing drastically and there's going to be a few big winners that help allow this, like XRP and Ethereum, Solana, and we're moving toward this world of tokenization where we're going to see trillions of dollars come on chain, and XRP is going to be at the center of it. Why would I have a short-term sight? Why would I have a short-term conviction and not a long-term conviction? This is something you should ask yourself as well. Now, the XRP retail sentiment has certainly shifted because of the price drop, because we went back down below $2. It's about a 20% decline from its January 5th peak to start the year. And this pullback has unsettled many investors. People are getting frustrated, but it's not because there's any fundamental changes to crypto or XRP, right? It's simply because people are losing patience. And patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to investing in high conviction assets. I know we've had a lot of noise, a lot of things that have derailed the market. I know a lot of people expected XRP and other altcoins to explode in 2025. It didn't happen, but it doesn't mean you run for the hills and run away. Now, many people come into our space and they have this clouded judgment. And retail sentiment is clouded because everybody's trying to get rich quick. Not everybody, right? But a good majority of people who come into crypto, they hear and see people getting super wealthy, right? That's why you got to yourself and dig into why you own what you own. Let me know in the comment section, why do you like XRP? And answer me this: are you a long-term or short-term investor? You've got to know your goals. You've got to know what your plan is here with these assets you own. Now, sentiment put together some interesting things here. Historically, sentiment extremes often mark potential reversal points. Markets tend to move against consensus expectations. And historically, this high level of bearish commentary leads to rallies. Price moves the opposite to retail's expectations more often than not. While this observation suggests a constructive scenario, the rapid sentiment swinging over a short period highlights uncertainty and inconsistency among retail traders. Such instability typically does not support a sustained uptrend. They always say, buy the fear, sell the greed, right? Right now we are fearful, especially on XRP, and the overall market has dialed back into the fear zone, by the way, as well, right? As we're looking across the board here at the cryptocurrency market, still just clinging on to a $3 trillion market cap. RSI's down below 50.
All right, fellow.
Back in the fear zone. This is historically a better time to buy than when we're neutral
and
when
saving
you're,
on
greedy, etc. Because then you're just chasing green candles, right? So hopefully this perspective helps you, gives you an idea.
So that's definitely some good advice there from Zach, the 10-year investor. Definitely a good time to, what up, Sobe? But definitely a good time to get in and hold. That's the thing. This is not a short-term business. Investing is not for short-term. If you're not in it for the long haul, you're wasting your time and your money. But let's run the last video and then we'll shut it down for the day.
Person running Standard Chartered, these three are hashing out the whole crypto landscape. Tokenization comes up, the roadmap forward gets discussed, and then someone throws out the big question, the one that cuts through all the speculation. The moderator basically puts him on the spot. Are we really looking at a 2-year window for all this to play out? What he says back might surprise you. I'm going to pull up the footage. Listen to this.
Innovator in the room, but you also believe in regulation.
Yeah, I think what's going on in the U.S. right now it is a classic dynamic of when you create new law, it's never going to be perfect. And I think what's the dynamic within the industry and working with Congress has been kind of. I subscribe to the idea that perfection is the enemy of good, and you can't get to perfection. And so I think Brian's exactly right. We're as close as we've ever been in providing that clarity. As some in the room probably know, Ripple lived through a 5-year battle with the U.S. government being sued because of the lack of clarity. So we are very much an advocate of clarity is better than chaos. I think Brian's right. We are very close. Agree in some ways that, look, competition is good. And I agree very much with the idea of level playing field. Now, I also think a level playing field goes 2 ways, in that crypto companies should be held to standards that banks are, and banks should be held to standards that crypto companies are in order to compete. So I don't think that's a one-way street that somehow Team Crypto gets to have, a certain pass in some way.
Bill.
Nice. We're not done yet. Up next, someone challenges Brian Armstrong on his whole take about Bitcoin turning into the monetary standard. Take a listen.
But we're also seeing the birth of a new monetary system that I would call the Bitcoin standard instead of the gold standard. And in the crypto space, that is a return to sound money and something that is inflation resistant, because democracies around the world, once we came off the gold standard, are struggling to balance their budget. They're all running deficits, and it's caused inflation in fiat currencies. And so there is a real segment of the population that is looking for a new system based on hard money.
Tokenization momentum in 2026 looks very real from institutional signals. Bill Winters, CEO of Standard Charter, says that we are at a major inflection point relating to tokenization, and it is this year. It's all happening at scale. Listen to this one.
Bill, let me come to you. You're on the record as saying most transactions will be tokenized by 2028. Are we really 2 years out from sweeping moves towards tokenization for transactions, or was that too optimistic?
I'm not sure I said 2028. I definitely said that the end state is one where most things will settle in digital form, and including real assets, but not everything, of course. We're, I think, at a major inflection point right now. I'm not sure no one was talking about stablecoins a year ago, but clearly it's gathering momentum. It's gathering momentum because we've made the leap in many fronts between the crypto world, where stablecoins are absolutely embedded, and the TradFi or traditional finance or fiat world, where stablecoins and related tokenized instruments are finding their way into the mainstream. I would say so far it's in pilot form in many sandboxes. It's initiatives like the wholesale Euro CBDC. There have been other earlier stages with ECNY, but not really used in commercial transactions, the Chinese currency in the same way. But this is the year when this is happening in scale. And I have no doubt, no less conviction than I did a year ago, that eventually all things will settle in digitized form. How we get there, I don't know. We as a bank, we're operating in 60 countries on the ground, another 60 that we deal in very actively, and that means we've got 60 plus regulators with 60 different regulatory regimes. So how we get from point A to point B will be heavily influenced by regulation, but it doesn't change the direction of travel.
We can pick.
So this is what's been holding everything back, right? You've got a patchwork of rules scattered across every corner of the globe. People are stuck wondering, is it even legal to move this token into that jurisdiction? We're spinning our wheels until there's some kind of unified approach that lets digital assets cross borders without all the friction. My bet is America becomes the trendsetter here. Once they put their framework in place, watch how fast other countries fall in line. Nations with strong economic ties to the US aren't going to jump ahead on crypto policy. They're waiting to see which way Washington goes. Makes sense when you consider how fundamentally this technology is going to change commerce and daily transactions worldwide. All right, take a look at this. DXC partners with Ripple to integrate blockchain into banking systems. DXC Ripple deal plugs Ripple custody payments, RLUSD, and directly XRP into its core banking systems and the core systems that already run hundreds of millions of bank accounts, giving Ripple a direct distribution rail into mainstream banking. DXC is integrating Ripple's institutional blockchain stack into its Hogan core banking platform, which powers 300 million deposit accounts. Over $5 trillion in deposits over 40 major banks. That's an insane amount of capital, 5 trillion, and apparently 40 heavyweight banks are part of this thing. You've definitely got me hooked now. But I need names here. Which 40 are they referring to? Don't gloss over that part. Hopefully we get those specifics coming up. Banks using Hogan will be able to offer digital asset custody, tokenization transfers, programmable payments, while keeping their existing core banking structure unchanged. The solution explicitly uses Ripple payments, licensed cross-border payments, and Ripple custody for digital assets, stablecoins, and real-world assets, with DXC positioning this as a last-mile connectivity between bank accounts, wallets, and on-chain platforms. What it does for Ripple, this effectively turns Ripple into the embedded digital asset layer for a legacy core banking vendor whose software already underpins 6 of the top 10 US banks and processes 2/3 of US transactions. Instead of selling one of the integrations bank by bank, Ripple can now just sell directly through DXC's installed base, scaling adoption of Ripple payments, Ripple custody, and future services like Prime, RLUSD, and Rails. The offer on the table is wild. Your bank's already wired into this network of 40 giants handling 300 billion in deposits. Take our full suite of tools and cherry pick what fits your needs. That's how Ripple's positioning themselves, yeah? The complete package ready to deploy. You've got to admire how they've set that up. Strategically, it reinforces Ripple's narrative as a full-stack institutional provider. Payments, custody, Prime, stablecoin, and tokenization. DXC's release and coverage notes that the digital asset custody includes stablecoins, and Ripple states that RLUSD and XRP are leveraged across its solutions, meaning Hogan banks get a turnkey way to issue and hold and settle using RLUSD once they enable Ripple modules. That positions RLUSD as bank-grade stablecoin. That's the whole reason Ripple played the waiting game, right? They weren't making a move until they had approval from New York's Department of Financial Services locked down. Now the question is, are we going to get the actual list of banks here? Keep watching. For context, it is accurate to say Hogan serves 40 major global banks, including several of the top 10, Wells Fargo, Barclays, US Bank, M&T Bank, while emphasizing that DXC does not disclose a complete list. So if you look at who DXC is working with, pulled this right from their page, you've got Amazon Web Services, Dell, Google Cloud, Dynatrace, Microsoft, Oracle, Red Hat, and S&P in the mix. These aren't small players. These are the heavyweights running the global economy. That lineup speaks volumes. Yeah, I'd say that qualifies as a win. Okay, France's top banking official has some doubts about Bitcoin becoming the benchmark for Europe's monetary system. Check out what he says. Listen to this one.
Is the euro in danger from a Bitcoin standard?
No, I'm a bit skeptical, Brian. Sorry to say it about this idea of the Bitcoin standard. We left the gold standard, but the gold was only a technical mean. What is important is what you say, but that monetary policy and money is part of sovereignty. And we live in democracies, and I think the public role is key. And if we lose that, really you lose a key function of democracy. That said, I always keep repeating that money, as long as it exists for centuries, has been a public-private partnership. You need a public anchor, whatever its form is. Remember, and silver and gold were sovereign assets, so it was on the public side. And then you had banknotes, and you will have CBDC. But anyway, the most important part of payments is in the private sphere, and this is the development of tokenized private money. But this tokenized private money must be regulated to inspire trust, confidence. And this is...
So there it is again. It must be regulated, right? And when the regulation hits, things are going to get crazy. But thanks for joining, guys. It's your main man, BTM, signing out. And remember, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And Super Chat, you can also hit me up with the Cash App. Either way, thanks for supporting BTM in the BTM Crypto News Network and keeping the lights on. But it's your main man, BTM, signing out. Miner out.